Hello everyone, welcome back once again to this new tarot reading about BTS ideal romantic partners for this 2021, for this time being. And let's see, it's JK's Jungkook's turn now. So we will start with the archetype cards that came out for him. The first card that came out for him, it's Poet. Then it's cheater or trickster. I try to find the correct translation because trickster it's like a word that whenever I try to translate some of the cards, it's like it repeats, like it's always an option. And archetypes are similar in some aspects, but not entirely. So that's why I'm translating it more like, yes, kind of a trickster, but at the same time also a cheater. And I will explain myself later. Then the archetype of Virgin, Vampire or Vampiress, and Liberator. So for JK, it's pretty interesting because I have seen the cards overall, the archetype cards overall, and I believe that his ideal, or maybe he has like a lot of things he finds attractive or maybe interesting, something that he would like to meet a certain someone that is like the opposite to what he knows or to what he had experienced. So I believe he has this kind of duality that he wants a certain someone that can have these attributes and I mean positive attributes, but he also thinks about the shadow side of the person. I mean, which obviously makes him really interesting because that means that he is able to um, embrace a person's um, whole spectrum, not just seeing the bright side or the pretty side of someone. Is as if he contemplates also the dark side, and that he would like very much for this person to be very in tune with the dark side or with their shadow side and their not so light attributes. And he would also be interested in getting to know those sides in a romantic relationship, to see it develop. Maybe it's because he finds it a bit exciting, someone that is maybe is a little bit like dangerous, but not dangerous in the sense that it's going to be um, something that is going to do him wrong or something like that. It's just that he's really interested in getting to know different sides of a human, of a woman. So, um, for example, the first one that it's poet, it's obviously really light. I believe that some of the boys had this archetype for them, like artist comes out a lot, poet comes out loud. So they're definitely he personally is interested in someone that is very inspired, that maybe they they have their own system where they work with their inspiration and where they are able to work as a professional way, to work um, with writing about feelings, writing about experiences, being able to create beautiful forms of of um, artistry, to be really inspired and to be really talented also. someone that is very emotional and that is able to put into words what they feel or their whole experience, and that they somehow can write these beautiful poems or these beautiful lyrics, for example. I think I had mentioned in the past, in the first reading that I done for JK about his mixtape, that he was having trouble finding the right words to write his own lyrics. So he had someone that assisted him, but that person somehow is not able to find the right words that can match with the feeling or maybe the intention of JK's inspiration in the first place. So it's like he still needs to work on his in writing lyrics process, because he somehow wants to include, for example, different words. He wants to be really witty in that sense, and really like eloquent. That's the word. And he wants to be really delicate. So sometimes he finds himself maybe being a little bit redundant with the words he chooses, but it's just that he's maybe literature or something that has to do with words is not his strong point. It's not his some it's not something that he can learn easily. Maybe he's really good with numbers, for example, or uh, with other studies, but maybe literature or the process of learning new words. Actually, when you, and this happens a lot, for example, with Namjoon, for you to be able to maybe write or maybe to be able to create a good lyrics or a good poem, or just write about something. Actually, maybe the key to that is not to do a career about literature. It's more so to read books. When you read books, you get in tune with different words, and somehow you integrate those words that you are reading. So being like a constant reader gives you the ability to come out with different words and different ways of writing. So he definitely admires that in someone, maybe because he feels like he's lacking, so he would definitely appreciate to share his time with someone that is very talented in that sense. And in the next card that I was talking about being a cheater or being like a trickster, actually, it's this card talks about the ability to somehow being like a magician, like being like this performer, like the old magician that they used to like enchant people's attention and perceptions by moving things or disappearing things or creating um, like different scenarios, and that this person often plays with someone's perception or maybe with someone's sight, because they somehow you see something and then you don't see it anymore, so they play a lot with suggestion. So he would definitely enjoy someone that has this trait about being able to make a fool of him in a sense, to fool him, but not in a bad way, not in a like in a negative way, just to fool him with love, because here we're talking about romantic and a romantic aspect. So I think he definitely wants someone that is a bit of a mischievous in that way, that is really smart, a woman that can manipulate him a little bit with her charms, someone that is really like really smart, like to be able to get his attention, and at the same time to be hard, not to be hard to get, but somehow to having these tricks, or maybe to having this sort of behavior where he cannot understand her completely, and where she is a mystery, and and somehow he feels like he has to work really hard to get her attention, or maybe to spend time with her, like she is really like, I have this feeling of being really like when you are really hypnotized by someone, and like everything they do is like a mystery to you, but somehow you cannot stop watching because you feel so drawn to that person, despite of knowing that they don't play fair. You know, I believe that he could be a sucker for love in that sense. He could be a little bit like um, weak in the sense that he's sure a fool in love. And I believe that this what it has to do. I don't think that is the person, it's themselves that want to fool him. It's more his own involvement and his own way of sometimes putting that person in a pedestal, and like being blinded by that person, um, maybe personality, maybe physical features, maybe, but there has to be some kind of mystery or some kind of game included. I believe he would be really willing to be manipulated somehow, because he finds it really interesting to be able to be seduced in that way, and not being in control of the situation. Actually, I believe that in a relationship, he would give the control and the power away to his partner, because he has Venus in Libra, and I have done a video about him in a Venus in Libra. So he definitely has this kind of fantasy of being somehow like a doormat for his loved one. It's just that he gets really blinded by love, and he doesn't mind. He likes to think of his partner as really powerful in that way. He appreciates to see the kind of effect that person has on him. It's just that he feels that, I don't know why, but he has this perception that somehow that's what love is about, for you to be fooled by the other person, which is not correct. But at the same time, we cannot blame him because he's really young, and at the same time, I believe he had watched a lot of movies, or maybe read, or maybe have seen a lot of like romantic comedies or romantic stories, where love is all about sacrifice, and love is all about conquering things, and love is about suffering. So maybe he has this kind of fantasy where he's willing to sacrifice himself in order to be loved by the other person. So it's a bit like weird, but he must have his reasons for it. The next card is Virgin. So I always say with these archetypes does not mean that it's literally that it means that he would want someone that is a virgin, which we wouldn't know what if it was one of his preference. But I believe that in this sense, we're talking about psychological archetypes. It means the archetype of the virgin. It's sometimes someone that is a little bit like naive or innocent about matters of the heart. It's like maybe someone that had never experienced like a love story, or maybe been in love before, or maybe I believe that I have the perception that this is not about whether this person has had other relationships before she meets him. It's more about playing pretend, like playing pretend that uh, when she's with him, when she is with JK, that she makes him feel and makes him believe that she had never felt that way for someone before. Because I also relate this very much with his moon in Leo. And moon in Leo is all about this desire of being special, of feeling special, of being the golden child, of being the one, of being the chosen one. So definitely he can translate this to a relationship in a sense that he may find attractive romantically that this person shows him that somehow what she is feeling for him, that she has never felt it with someone else before. So in that sense, she would make him feel special because she would tell him that he is the first one. So he would feel really good about himself knowing that he is the first in for that person. He would feel really honored. He would feel really good about himself. Um, Probably, I don't know, something like maybe she had dated before, but somehow she wasn't that deeply in love with this person, and somehow when she meets JK Jungkook, somehow she falls in love really deep, and it's like they share this kind of a strong connection, and she lets him know that she has never experienced that kind of connection. So this is what the archetype of the Virgin means. And the next card, the one that is the bottom, it's vampires or vampire. Um, and this is very JK. When I saw it, I was like, yes, this could be JK's idea, because, like I said, he likes the the nice attributes of the good girl, but at the same time, he's really attracted to the dark and deep side of a woman, of a female. I believe JK himself is very in tune with his intuition and with his feminine side, so he definitely um, feels like women are a mystery for him, and at the same time that they are really interesting creatures, like like really interesting in the sense that you cannot define them because they are different, or maybe they are wild. They can be wild if provoked. They can be tougher if provoked. And I agree with his point of view because, well, I'm a female. So it's nice to see that he has this kind of deep perception about what a female and what a feminine is. We are not all roses and rainbows. Sometimes we have our dark days, we have our dark desires as well, and we can be really pretty savage sometimes. So I believe that in the sense of a vampire, I think when I mentioned about this, also the cheater or the trickster archetype, that he would like to be manipulated and he would like to be like dominated by his partner. I think that he also means it psychologically and also emotionally. Um, he would definitely be willing to be that that devoted or that into someone. I mean, he would want someone that could bring that could ignite that fire, that passion in him. Someone that can control him somehow, even with her charms, with her beauty, with her sexuality. Probably when we are talking about a vampire, I believe it's about sexuality, sensuality. I believe he likes he fantasizes about having like a more dominating partner, like someone that can teach him like some different ways of pleasure and how to pleasure him, and someone that is not shy and that is really in tune with her own desires and what she wants. um, of course, this is not something that he would want everyone to know, as I already mentioned when I talked about him and his moon and his Mars in Scorpio. He actually fantasized about this because I believe that this is what he wants in his intimacy. He would want someone that is really wild and someone that is really passionate, and someone that is also able to connect with him and somehow get in his mind, somehow like being able to hypnotize him, somehow he finding himself thinking about her like maybe obsessively. He would want someone that could make him feel that deep. He fantasizes with that. He craves that, especially knowing that with his circumstances, if he finds this person, eventually, we know that he is really busy. We know that he is constantly working at the moment. So maybe if he has a special someone, he would want someone that is really memorable for him, that can stick in his mind, that he can carry her memory or her influence, almost her spirit, with him whenever he goes, because he is a sucker for love. Yes. So he would definitely be willing to think about, if he really likes her, if he really loves her, he would be he would want to nurture these kinds of romantic feelings. So he would feel really nice to be able to experience these emotions for her. And also, Lele's card is Liberator. Well, Liberator, yeah, I think a lot of them have gotten this card, the Liberator, and I had talked about it, and it's this person that it's able to stand up for others, especially for the ones that are ignored, and for the ones that do not have a voice of their own, and somehow being um, like, let's let's start new, let's break barriers, let's break traditions, let's lead to new changes, like let's break chains, and not chains physically, just change of thoughts, change of all patterns. So since I see this card next to the vampire or vampiress archetype, I believe that he would want her to set him free, to be liberate him from maybe his desires, maybe his dark desires, um, that he could let loose with her somehow. And it's weird because he wants to be liberated by her, but at the same time to be under her spell or to be under her control. But it's like somehow he wants to feel it that way. He wants to have this kind of adrenaline rush in the intimacy. So that's why I say that he's really interested in the light side of the relationship, and also in the shadow side, in the more addictive and obsessive kind of bonding. So that's why I believe he would feel that she could set him free or liberate him by showing him this kind of obsessive bond, which is interesting, because I believe that he is in the search of feeling this way, maybe because it is very different from what he had experienced. So somehow he wants to feel this intensely, so he can feel alive somehow. So having like a really good harmonious and really loving relationship, but at the same time that it can be really dramatic and passionate at the same time, because he wants this experience to be unforgettable. He wants this person to be unforgettable for him, and him being also unforgettable for this person. So he is really, he has this fantasy, he has this, um, he hasn't found yet that person, but it's like every time he meets someone, he thinks, is this the person that is going to make me feel this way? Because I believe that he somehow had experienced this in a past life. Like he feels really connected to these kinds of experiences. It's like he had never experienced this before, this kind of bond, and he had never seen it either, not on TV. Like I said, some things are inspired by what he sees on TV or dramas or whatever, but some others are like memories um, of his unconscious. He has like a vivid memory of of loving someone so deep, and that he almost felt like dying when he lost this person in a previous life. So he has this feeling, he has this perception that love somehow is happiness, and it's also about pain, and it's about sacrifice, and it's about wanting to hold on to that person as tight as possible, and feeling really desperate also, um, which is weird because I'm thinking about that he somehow finds some kind of thrill in feeling desperate for someone, like feeling desperation for someone, like the fear of losing that someone is something that is like a feeling that is like an adrenaline rush for him. So maybe someone that can manipulate him somehow emotionally, like saying, "Oh yes, I'm going to leave you," or these kinds of relationships when it's, "Yes, I love you, but we cannot be together," something like that. Um, with good sex in the mix, of course. But something like that, a mix of romantic and like a despair. I don't know why, but that's what I'm getting from him. So I'm going to leave here, guys. The next reading is going to be about Taeyong, and so we are going to finish finally the romantic ideals for the boys in 2021. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.